Hey everyone, welcome back to some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you had a great day. If you would like to help me grow this channel, please press the like button, it really helps in the algorithm. And if you haven't already, why don't you make this the video that you subscribe to the channel? And with that out of the way, let's start with the first story, shall we? The first story is called If You Can't Do It Perfectly, Don't Do It. I worked retail when I was younger. Like most people, it was a mixed bag, and some of my best and worst memories involved my time working in retail chains. I worked in footwear in a then blossoming sporting goods franchise and had a real knack for it. It was rewarding helping people find shoes in their sizes, and it's heartwarming at times. My hiring supervisor was amazing, and the staff was really cool too. We all liked and respected him a lot. But alas, like many good things, it came to a sudden and forceful end. Upper management decided a change was in order and shifted to supervisors, opening a spot in my department. That's when the new supervisor, henceforth known as Brandy, came to us. Brandy was a transfer from another store 30 minutes away. The entire supervisor team knew and was not fond of her, but she filled a void. And the district manager and store manager were big fans of her for reasons unknown. We were warned that she was a woman of many faces and would tell you or promise you things you'd never get. I learned this about her fairly quickly. Before she even knew the staff, our strong suits, or our schedules, or our names, she had a list of things she wanted done and could not be deviated from. There was also word going around that she liked to make staffing changes and hire her own people when she came in. Morale died fairly quickly within the first week she was there. In short, she was a nightmare for almost the entire store. Brandy's first day was on a particularly busy summer day. Before I could even walk back to my section, I could hear her voice calling over the intercom constantly. Along the way, I was greeted by the morning staff, who gave me a quick rundown of her and what she was like. Then they told me to have fun. Oh boy, I thought to myself. I found her in the back near the cleats and introduced myself. You have your tasks assigned to you already, and I want all of the displays finished in your areas before you leave today. I thought this was strange, because I had set the displays for those exact sections the night prior, all according to the franchise standards. They were firmly stuffed to look like a foot was in them and had no visible laces shown. I even changed the laces to go inside the shoe so they didn't obstruct the view of the top of the shoe. They were signed off as completed by the lead on duty and even complimented. I was proud of my work. I went back to the section I did the night before and looked them over for a few seconds, super confused. I shrugged it off and set to checking, or at least restuffing a few to see if I had missed something. Nope, nothing. But I continued on as I had been instructed and did my job, and things seemed like they were going pretty smooth. Later on that afternoon, Brandy came back up to me, asked me when I was going to finish my displays, and I told her that I had. She looked at me and then back at my displays and made a look of disgust and said, "You're going to leave them like that?" I was confused. Like what? Nothing I did was ever really a problem in the past, and I really didn't want to get on her wrong side because I loved my job and it was my first day with her. She scoffed and said, "Like this?" And then she grabbed a broken metal pack off her sock end cap and proceeded to jam as much paper as humanly possible into the shoe until it couldn't hold anymore. The shoe felt like someone had filled it with concrete, and the fabric even protruded on some shoes because of the pressure. It was not pretty or guideline. After watching how she did it, I just stood there dumbstruck. Again, this went against almost all of my training up to that point. Then she started in on me. No matter how hard I tried to give her what she wanted, but still meet the guideline I'd been trained for, she didn't like it and would get me to do them again. This went on for a little bit. And then she messed up. After an agonizing amount of time, she grabbed the shoe from me. She said, "No, do it perfect. If you can't do it perfect, then don't even try. Just leave it for someone else to do." Let me remind you that she had a full list of other things she wanted to be done, but she rang a bell I wasn't going to ignore. So instead of giving me another task, she gave me a loophole. I capitalized fully. Cue malicious compliance. After an emotional wrecking like the one she had given me, I excitedly said "okay" and walked away to help customers. I left her there with the display still in her hand. She also said this within earshot of several other employees that were already sour with her. She didn't want me to try if I couldn't be perfect? Fine, that was exactly what I did. I did nothing on that list for 4 months. I don't even remember anything it says on it. You might be wondering to yourself, how did you not get fired? Well, she tried, several times. Anytime she would try to write me up, I would quote her exact words to her, the store supervisor, the leads, the district manager, and even someone in HR when they came to visit. Eventually, she was told to stop because her attempts could be viewed as retaliation, and that was a huge corporate no-no. I still provided excellent customer service and got rave reviews and compliments when customers went to check out. And the store manager and I got along really well. So they were hesitant to push too hard. A few months later, I changed departments and then met my now wife on our store setup trip and moved across the state. When she found out I was quitting, she pretended to be upset, but everyone knew she wanted me gone. She was gone within a year of my leaving, but I have no clue why. The last story is called It's Going to Be a Hot Summer. I work as a clerk at a large trucking company. I've been there for 2 years now, but regardless of that, I have an extremely hard time getting respect from the majority of the people there. Of the 175 employees, only 14 are women, and I am by far the youngest by a handful of years. The environment is great when it's good and terrible when it's not. As you can imagine, there's the usual daily dose of bad attitude against women and general ignorance that you would expect from a conservative blue-collar warehouse. But after 2 years, I've grown quite a thick skin and have little issues standing up to these grown men when they get pushy or rough with me. My job is really supposed to just be basic customer service and filing, but I had the opportunity to learn how to dispatch and I flourished. My daily tasks expanded quite a bit in dispatch duties, the most important of which for this story is equipment assignment. It's part of my daily task to assign what driver is in what semi-truck, tractor for the day. They are all, for the most part, assigned to a specific one. But when you have vehicles that drive well over 500 miles a day, if not more, things happen. Breakdowns, accidents, the mechanics need to take them for service, you name it. So what ends up happening is on average I usually have about 15 to 20 drivers a day who need to be assigned to trucks. On top of that, to make it more complicated, 2020 caused a boom in service. This is great, but also led to management hiring more drivers than what we have equipment for. This means many drivers have to share. The drivers who go out in the middle of the night bring the trucks back and give them to the driver who starts in the morning to take them out during the day. This is a constant rotation. It's my job to organize who has what. And here is where the issue started. We have a handful of drivers who hate sharing their trucks. Frankly, sharing trucks can be a pain as you can't control what time someone will be back. Sometimes the guys are messy. And in general, it's like forcing little kids to share toys. So one driver in particular I have a problem with, we call him Bob. Bob will constantly brag about having his own truck and how good of a driver he is because he doesn't have to share. He is often pulling the seniority card on newer drivers. This was fine until the AC in his tractor broke. In the state I am in, working AC is not required for the tractor to be street legal. This is bad as we have days that can get up to 100 degrees and sometimes even more. As expected, as soon as Bob's truck stopped working, the shop told him it would be almost a month before they could fix it as there were more important things to be settled. He immediately launched into an angry frenzy and went straight to management, demanding to be put into something newer and nicer. We got into verbal arguments over it as he refused to take whatever I was giving him unless it was brand new. He especially refused to take the truck with no AC. While I don't blame him for not wanting to drive a truck with no AC in the summer, the problem was with the way he went about it. He was rude and talking to me like I was stupid. So I gave him exactly what he wanted, a brand new 2021 truck with less than 500 miles. The problem is that the truck is shared with a nighttime driver with twice his seniority. And that driver has the habit of getting other drivers in trouble for leaving trucks messy, not fueling up properly, not doing the paperwork correct, things like that. Bob is a slob. So for as much as Bob was a pain, the driver he shared with was even more so an issue. Especially considering that they did not get along. Within a week of sharing, Bob had been written up for being messy. And this is where it gets interesting. 3 weeks into the arrangement, Bob is miserable. He finds out that his old truck has been fixed and immediately, without talking to me, goes over my head to management to demand to be reassigned to that truck, which is granted. I was irate, as at this point another driver had been in that truck and making do with the lack of AC, and once again Bob was being spoiled. So I begged my supervisor to grant me the authority to keep Bob in the truck no matter what. I told Bob this and told him if the AC went out again he was stuck, so choose wisely. He made fun of me and said he didn't care and that he wanted his old truck back. 3 days later, the AC goes out again, just in time for a heat wave, the first one of our Florida summer. My only response to his complaints was it was going to be a hot summer, a response that was thankfully backed by management. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Bye bye.